G'day guys, I'm gonna show you what I've been doing to the workshop. You can have a look at this. This is I'm in the middle of doing a tidy. It became unworkable. I just had piles and piles and piles of stuff, and if you look down at my feet there's piles. I just went and bought a hell of a lot of storage containers, all different sizes, all different shapes, so I can just start putting stuff in and labeling roughly what goes in there. You know, for electronics, you've got thousands and thousands of different components. Um, you know, even equipment and stuff, there's just hundreds of pieces, and a lot of it just doesn't fit into a category. And you know, it's like, well, we have a box for cables. What cables? You can't just go and put all the cables in there because it'd be a mountain. So it's very, very difficult. Um, you know, I designated a whole drawer just to ferrites. You know, that's an obscure thing. So boards like down here, I'm all my connectors and things, and you know, I haven't even gone through what's in there. I'm just putting them in compartments. I'm going to sort out the rough families of all this stuff, where that goes later. But you know, I just had circuit boards everywhere, from you know R&D stuff, and you know and there's bit of a bit of a Chinese knockoff 45 here, which is completely, there was a disaster, that one. Uh, that never worked. But yeah, it's like, you know, boards, it's called cables, boards, um, headphones. Would you believe I've got a box this big full of headphones and headphone components? It's ridiculous. But anyway, I'll tell you what, right? I don't know if you remember, but on here, if I loosen this, I can spin it around. Um, Here I had a light, you know, a sort of a LED, big LED light looking down, and I thought to myself, actually, most of the light's just bouncing off the top of the test equipment in there. Very little amount of light came out, and it actually made it very difficult to see oscilloscope screens and things like that. Like now, if I turn it on, you know, it's in a sort of a, a darkened little cubby hole there, and it's a lot easier to see. So that's how I always used to have, you know, oscilloscopes like so. I've got the intensity turned right down because I don't need to have it bright, but you know, God, you get away with it just humming away there like that. That's good. The other thing too, my bench was covered in little balls of solder and bits of wire off cut. And you know, when you cut wire, sometimes it just pulling into the universe. It just disappears. So that's explains wire everywhere, off cuts, parts, little capacitors, resistors, lots of stuff all over the place. And you know, cleaning it up. I tell you what though, I bought this thing, right? You probably might have seen it sitting on my bench, but I never ever made mention of it. It came in this box here. It's got lots and lots of accessories. And any of you guys doing workshop stuff, you've got to get one of these. This thing is unreal. It's called an LT117. Sounds like a linear technology chip number, doesn't it? Probably is. But this thing here, what I like about it, rather than pinching the Mrs.'s vacuum cleaner, right? This one you can see very easily. You know, all those $25 ICs you mistakenly suck up. Uh, I actually did the carpet on the bench here, and it does a really good job. So I don't think that all you need really is just that nozzle on the end there. It blows out air here, and there's another attachment here. You can use it as an air duster. So it's multi-function. It's got rechargeable batteries in it, so uh, you know, comes with their recharge lead. It does. It actually charges off USB. You know, the old USB standard. But I couldn't work out. Well, it's only 5 volts. What's this thing working on? And I pulled the. Of course, I did. I pulled the USB stick apart, and it's got a voltage converter in there which actually jumps the voltage up to about 12 volts. So these things have a bit of grunt. If I actually turn it on, it'll probably sound very loud, but in here, I don't know if you can see in there too well, I've got a heap of, I went through carefully and I removed all the expensive stuff. I think, it's just dead parts, and I don't know if it's even a dead part there. It might be a good part that I'll put there. Yeah, we'll see what it is. I do this. Sometimes I put, yeah, I don't want to vacuum up. That's an AD797. I'll put that up there for the time being. I don't want to vacuum that up, considering they're quite expensive nowadays. Okay, so yeah, like, I don't know if you can see here too well. Probably, I don't know. I'll put this down at, gee, I'll put it down a bit and I'll zoom in. But this thing's got, it sucks. I mean, properly sucks. I don't even know if I can actually pinch this out. Can I? No, won't do it. Okay. Well, that's the view you got, and I can't move the tripod. It's stuck where it is. But if I go in here, and there's another IC there too. I don't even know what that one's. Yeah, might be the same family. Just make sure there's no. Oh God, there's one of those expensive inductors that I replace on a particular detector. But yeah, okay. Here's a big suck it and see. So there you go. It's cleaned it. There's a couple of bits of wire in there, but they got tacky on them, so they're actually stuck. I have to peel them up, so you can't expect what. Sometimes I want to keep stuff like that because I make little bridges out of it, but not this time. Okay, in the bin. Bin's getting full. But this thing, um, it's grunty. It really does a good job. So just got to be careful and always inspect it afterwards to make sure you haven't sucked up anything you don't want to suck up. But yeah, it's got a little filter on there, and I've done some really nasty stuff, sucking up nasty stuff, and there's no smell out of it. So I don't know what the filter's made of, and like this, you just undo it like so. There's a little motor and everything in there, and this is the filter. The filter just pops in there. So I suppose you can buy spare ones. You can clean it out if you want to, and with all that stuff in there, just tip it in the bin. It's gone. But what a handy gadget. Oh, I saw these before, and years ago, and I've always said, oh, that's going to be, a gutless con. That's not going to do anything. But no, it works really good. So I got that off. The plug goes to AliExpress. That's where I got it from, and it wasn't even expensive. I can't remember the price, but it could have been $12 or $15 on the doorstep. Oops, there we go. The other thing, I have to say, the missus found this. This is awesome. And this is why I got rid of the light under here as well. I'll get one of these that's light. Now, these slide on baskets, right? These things, you can get these from Target, or as we call it, Target, right? uh, well, we called it that because we had families that couldn't afford very good clothing when I was a kid. And what they did, they used to go to Target and they buy clothing. And I know one of the kids' mothers used to sew on brand name emblems onto the clothing. So kids thought they were, you know, not wearing the, $2.50 t-shirt or whatever it was. But I got these from Target. Also, Kmart have these as well. And these slide onto an existing shelf. And it just goes on here. It's actually stronger than what it looks. When it's when it's all there, I'm just holding it with two hands, as you can see. You know, that can open up a bit if you want it to, or you can close and bend it. But it just sits there and hangs and gets stuff off your bench, which I suffer massively from, because I'm doing R&D work, and then I'm doing repair work, and then I'm putting boards in detectors, and I'm doing this, I'm doing that, all sorts of fix-its and whatever. And because of the amount of stuff, you know, it's just got to have access to, you know, hundreds of different things all the time, different tools and different parts. It just really starts growing. And you know, you buy a couple of things, it comes in here. I have stuff come in from components. You know, I might buy something from DigiKey or Mouser. A box comes in, and I start undoing the box, and I go, my God, where am I going to put it? There's no flat surfaces. I don't have any flat surfaces in this room. I'm not joking. It is completely like, you look up there, there's just stuff everywhere. I'm in the middle of just trying to organize it, because you know, I do these cleanups every so often, and what happens then is I put stuff away, and then I can't find stuff. And I've had a job where I said, "Oh, you know, I'll need this. This part's blown up, or whatever." I'm trying to find something like something simple, like 1 amp little, you know, N-channel MOSFET or something for the input stage on the DC line of a detector. They burn out quite often. Don't know why, but they do. Because they're inrush current limited too, with the way the circuit works, but they still burn out. And I'll go, oh, I had those, and I had a tube of them up here, and now I've put them away. And most cases, I will spend half an hour going through everything trying to find it, and it drives me completely nuts. So I'm going to try and, you know, I've got drawers and drawers of those plastic um, component holders. I've got a cupboard full of them. They're all up there: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Oh, God, whatever. There's 20 up there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big ones sitting in front of me, which are sort of out of reach. Uh, the ones at the top there. So I've got to sort that out. I've got more over there, and it's just drawers and drawers and drawers. And then I've got, you know, all these other stacks of things. Like, it's just mind blowing. So anyway, that's going to get rid of some of the big stuff. And I just go up the top there, and you can still use the top. It just sits stuff around it. Like even here, you know, like components. You know, I got these, and I said, look, I think these are made. I don't know what they're made for. I think they're probably things you put drawing pins or something. But this also, these came from Kmart or Target, and you know, I've got lots and lots of surface mount components in these, because you know, I've still got to group them into families. I've got lots and lots of these containers and the container holders. So they're going to be grouped into family, because in here we've got transistors, diodes, some chips, MOSFETs, you know, all sorts of stuff sitting in there, capacitors, and it's just you know, sometimes it's job specific doing it this way. So if you're going to do something, you'll have all your bits here. Uh, I haven't got to that point yet. It's still dog's breakfast. So I've got more of these over here too. So there's just bits and pieces everywhere. You know, different sizes of surface mount resistors, different resistors, and things all over the place. But I'm getting there. It takes a lot of time to do this. Just so much componentry. You know, I've got I don't even want to. I was going to go and tilt this to the floor, but you don't want to see the floor. I can hardly walk. I tried to put the tripod up, and I could get two legs down. The third leg's always resting on something, so it was a bit crazy. But yeah, look, you know, there's all components over there. There's stuff everywhere. It's just completely bonkers. You know, I think this room may be a little bit too small. I should actually go and strip out the whole. I've got a 6-car garage. I should strip it all out and line it and do it properly, and have a really good workshop. You know, in a bit of a man cave or something of that nature. But yeah, electronics. Um, yeah, now I had people asking me questions by email. I think I've addressed all that. I can't address anything here. I think, someone's asking about when's new detectors coming out. Okay, I'll say this. In my opinion, Minelab's got something being touted around the WA goldfields being tested. There's some other detectors where they've probably priced themselves too low and they can't gear up, because once you gear up, the costs go up, because doing it by hand, it's pretty well, a set cost. But as soon as you start doing trying to do mass production, up go the costs. That's why detectors cost so much. That mass produced, even you think mass produced is cheap, it can be, but mass produced in some cases, just the gear up costs. If you're doing something for $2,000, a device, and it was costing this, that, and the other, and you've got all the logistics involved, then you instead of making, say 10 a week, now you're going to make 1,000. The gear up cost to do that is astronomical. It would it really start costing a lot of dollars, a big outlay. You just can't do it on the cheap anymore. So sometimes the bigger you get, the more expensive it gets. Then you get to a point where you're making TV sets and stuff like that. Yeah, the price comes down, but certain things you just maybe making a few hundred or 1,000 or a couple of thousand, 10,000 even. It's not that cheap. I've been there, I've done that. I used to run production lines years ago. I've had a heap of jobs. I used to go company to company to company because I got bored. I would go to a company and I'd work there for a year or two and I'd say, oh, God, it's boring. And then I'd go and leapfrog into another company doing something different, and so it was a bit more interesting. So and that got boring. So I just kept moving around. And then I started my own business, and I started doing a lot of industrial electronics. I had a fire alarm company. I was doing electronic fire alarm systems for a number of years, until it's mainly government contracts, until the Labor government decided to not pay any bills and put out a letter saying no work over the value of $20 shall be done. I said, oh, really? We used to charge $140 for a call out, so that didn't happen. Uh, so yeah, there's all sorts of stuff back in the past I used to do. So now, like metal detectors was a bit of a sideline operation, but it became more and more of a main operation. But I still do other stuff. I don't just do metal detectors. Otherwise, I'd get bored. But it's still very interesting because it's a black art. Anyway, that's me getting off the subject. I was going to show basically these shelves. $8 each, by the way. $8, Aussie dollars, Aussie pesos, and I think this thing was about 12 or 15, but it's really good. And I only charged it twice since I've had it, so the batteries are good. And that's probably about that. So this is more about I just thought getting stuff off your bench so you're not buried in stuff. Because I know there's, if you're doing, I don't know, say you're doing woodwork and that was your job, you'd probably have a set of chisels, some saws, and your tools would be probably under 50. But when you do electronics, all the little bits and pieces, tools, and all the equipment, my God, it just runs into the hundreds. So it's much easier to be a woodworker than an electronics guy, especially if you're multi-disciplined. You're going from R&D, circuit board design, test and measurement, prototyping, repair work, then installation of stuff you've done, and whatever else. It just gets all over the place. It's nuts. You need a separate room for each one of those disciplines, so you don't get it all muddled up. It's like repair comes in, take all that off the table, and you're going to do that, and then you're going to go and locate what you were doing, put it all back. It becomes crazy. So I'm very much leaning to go and do a workshop out in the garage and just set it up properly. Just do a big spend on it, get it done, and hibernate out there. It'd be a lot better than this room here. It's not very big. It's in the old measurement. What would it be? 10 by 12 or something? It probably was a bedroom or something. I don't know, but you bring coils in, you bring detectors in, and bits and pieces. I mean, box of dirt up there even. It just starts getting very cramped. And yeah, I think I need to do something about it. I would have done something a bit earlier, but David's still got his car in the garage, blocking the entrance. So, like I say, anybody who wants a Land Rover Discovery 3, uh, yeah, make an offer. Make David an offer. Take it off his hands. He wants to sell it, and it's just sitting there. He hasn't done much. I don't think he's even advertised it. You probably get it for a good price. Okie dokes, that's enough of this bizzo. All things are still on the go, detector wise, with other people doing other things. Not mentioning any names that I shouldn't. But things are happening. We'll be finding out more about that later on anyway. Soon as things pop up and it's a real thing, I'll be running around with it and doing a show and tell. But until that time, things are all in development. They're all in development, and it's all going to happen. So, from what I know, there's a few things. I'm still waiting on that Chinese thing that was what Cheebo were designing, and they had prototypes of. That was a PI detector too. So I don't know what. It's not a copy. It's their own. I saw it. It was all set up in a suitcase, right? It was all set up in a suitcase, battery, circuit board, all so it could be shown and worked on, and hooked a coil up onto it, and away it went. So um, that is happening as well. I don't know. I don't know the timing of this stuff. They're not going to tell me. I'm not involved with the company. It was just shown as a courtesy sort of thing to say, oh, we've got this on the go. So if it ever comes out, it does. Ring up, talk to Cheebo. They advertise on Alibaba. Find out, ask them, and see what's going on. Anyway, that's enough waffle. I'm going to get back into cleaning up this place, but I'm getting there. It's going to be a bit better when I'm finished, hopefully. Catches.